I'm zombie but awake 밤비가 내려 wait Can't wait no time is a game so I just put it all my way I'm zombie but awake 밤비가 내려 wait Can't wait no time is a game so I just put it all my way All I need is love all I need is hope 사랑을 갈구해 랩으로 빡치는 건 나 랩으로 얘기해 막 사는 걸 자랑을 하는 래퍼들 얘기는 no All I need is hope all I need is hope 현실을 도피해 랩으로 바쁘단 걸 날 필요로 한다고 느끼는 게 살아있다고 날 더 느끼게 해 하고 싶은 얘기들을 담아서 노래로 만들어 나는 길을 받아서 누구에게 약이 되고 누구에겐 독 이런 얘기들은 뱀이 들어버렸네 밤에들이 부어져 간이 부어버려 툭 튀어나와버렸네 배가 부르지 않게 better rap honey bad honey bad buzz down rolling 하나로는 부족해 하나로는 부족하니까 난 손목에 내 또 내 목에 챙갱갱 하지 못할 일은 없으니까 가족에게 보여줄 일밖에 이젠 없으니까 Hustle for the best got no time for the bitches 랩을 못한다면 내 노래마저도 예매 Get the money back back new click new whip never put it back payback click clack bang
So I got this ice cream from the ice cream cooler. At Harrison Dining Hall, which is a floor above the area that contains tracks and the Nest convenience store. I have to say, I'm thankful that it's currently winter because I feel that in a warmer season, this ice cream would have melted while I made the trip back to Eagle Hall. Eagle Hall has one of the shortest routes to the Harrison Dining Hall building, but there's a construction area at the front of the Harrison building that's fenced off. I recall, it was this morning, and around the time I left to get and pick up my lunch at Harrison, as well as to get 4 Rockstar Thermo energy drinks from the Nest. Then I, out of the blue, decided to make a quick stop at the RD office. He came out and told me that I was given an offer as a reserve day desk attendant. He told me that he had sent me an email that was supposed to inform me of this minutes ago, but I didn't check for that email because I think at that time I was getting dressed and preparing for my trip to the Harrison building to pick up lunch and those four new energy drinks. I picked up the lunch with the 4 cans of energy drink, and then I picked up dinner much later in this paper bag, I would say. I implemented this new method as an attempt to reduce the risk of me spilling my lunch during the return trip from the Harrison building to Eagle Hall. This is the carved ham. In the last minute before the start of my first Wednesday national security class, by Wednesday I mean the first Wednesday in which I had that class, which I have on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We had a PowerPoint lecture that consisted of only a few slides, so I was able to take all of the notes down, write down all of the information that was presented to me through the PowerPoint. This is some delicious whole wheat pasta. This flaxseed or whatever it's called, I'm not entirely sure. That was from last semester, but I think it's still good. I decided to get a yogurt because they only had a tomato soup at the Harrison dinner area. Right now in Bloons Tower Defense 6, I'm focusing on completing the beginner maps on the military only and reverse modes, which are branches of the medium difficulty. I'm currently repeatedly using the hero Owen Greenfoot, I think his name is. He's the Forest Guardian hero on Bloons TD6. On the military only mode, the first thing I do is I tend to get a buckshot path dartling gunner. While doing that, I typically get a sniper monkey. I'm currently waiting on getting I'm first getting one that follows I'm first following the supply drop path, which is the middle path. Because that's pretty much the only way you can earn any money. In the military only mode during a game, aside from your income in between rounds. Excuse me. And the cash you get from popping balloons. To be exact, you get 1 cash for each layer your monkey towers pop. And on the reverse mode, I follow the strategy I found online of using the hero Owen Greenfoot, because he gives a buff to druids, or maybe it's just druids. Typically the first druid I get will follow the bottom Avatar of Wrath path. And on that one I follow the top path, so it gets the lightning ability. And then for the rest of the druids, I follow the same bottom path, but only up to the Populus upgrade. And then I get the first middle path upgrade, Thorn Swarm upgrade. The idea being that each Populus druid will increase the pierce rate, at least the pierce, and I think also maybe the attack speed of nearby druids, which means druids within the range of another druid. And this effect stacks up to 5 times. On reverse mode, I can get a monkey village. But on military only mode, the snipers are used in order to get the camo. At least that's the theory behind it. It also helps that Greenfoot's Bramble's ability can pop camo, which saved me more than once when I forgot to get any anti-camo towers or tower upgrades. I got this raspberry bar intending to be it for something to eat for later, but I ultimately decided to have it now. And then I considered getting snacks for later at the nest, but then I decided not to do that. I think with a combination of that I didn't want to get a combination of me not wanting to get an unhealthy snack and me wanting to save my dining points for future energy drink visits and emergency trips to tracks in case I accidentally fall asleep and suddenly wake up at 8:30 p.m. And now all of a sudden I've missed dinner at Harrison Dining Hall. On most days, they're open until 8 p.m. for dinner, starting at 4 p.m. They have lunch starting at 11. And I left for the Harrison building for lunch at around 11 a.m. Because I knew that my national security defense class started at 12:20 p.m. I was able to participate pretty well despite having not done the reading for Wednesday. I found it posted onto Blackboard through the course content section, week 1 for the national security class. At one point I gave the example of strategy games to explain how strategy is the ability for one to formulate a plan on how to most optimally achieve their goals. Now, this wasn't exactly what I said, but it's the gist of what I said, and my professor said that that could be called strategic ability. And now that I think about it, it seems that definition may be pretty good. The professor explained how there are contexts in which national security has been given a narrow scope to be Pacific. In its early days, it was only said to apply to how to defend a country in times of war. And in terms of a broad scope, there have been cases where issues such as healthcare and if I'm remembering correctly, access to pharmaceuticals were national security issues. And it seems for this course, we'll be discussing a striking of a middle ground between those two perspectives. Excuse me. Which still allows things like terrorism to be included in the scope, but it says that it excludes internal threats. I think at the time, near the start of the class, I defined national security as something to do with a government's duty to protect the rights of its people against external and internal threats to those rights. I have a feeling that that was the primary reason governments were set up, as a sort of mechanism to try to preserve our rights against internal and external threats to it. There were others who said that national security had something to do with, as a sort of method of preserving a national government's interests. While there are some cases of that, I have to believe that most of the time, the actions of governments are intended to preserve the rights of its citizens in the face of internal and external threats. that is the gist of what went on during my national security class. I also found my iron supplement pretty much right before I left to pick up dinner at the Harrison building, and I took one tablet of the iron supplement knowing that I would soon eat. I think it said on the instructions that you're supposed to take the supplement with food. I spent quite a bit of time today playing Bloons TD6. In terms of the 99th Dan Hamming, I resolved the issue of the facial expressions by copying the characters who were doing the trio who were doing the running action, and then pasting them onto the scenes that immediately preceded that action, and in which the camera did not point at the trio. And that sort of extended the action into the past, thus allowing the shocked expression to play out, so it no longer looks like the trio were smiling. Now it kind of looks like they're taking an air as they're shocked by what Caesar's father did. And current plans, I think, are to make the Uber driver say something. And maybe to show him, to try to depict a loss of consciousness or something like that. As I was getting dinner, I asked, when I had the gravy on, I asked if they had any chicken and biscuits, and they told me that they ran out. And then I asked about this chicken, and they said it was, I believe, barbecue sauce chicken. I'm not sure a plastic fork can pick up that whole piece of chicken safely without risking it breaking. I sanitized my hands before I went out to get the dinner, then put on my gloves. And once I got the mashed potatoes, I asked if they had gravy, and they said they never had gravy tonight. And then I asked for more mashed potatoes. Initially, I wasn't sure if I wanted the whole wheat pasta with edamame, because I saw tomatoes on, but then I decided, I kind of like tomatoes. And I ultimately got the whole wheat pasta, and I'm glad that I did that because it's pretty good.